The message came to Earth on a Tuesday morning. It arrived on every screen, every radio, every device that could receive a signal. People stopped in the streets. Cars pulled over. Children looked up from their breakfast tables. The whole world went quiet at the same time. The face on the screen was not human. It was made of something like crystal, sharp and cold and very old. The being had no eyes that humans could recognize, but everyone who saw it felt like it was looking directly at them. Species 7291, the voice said. It was translated into every human language at once. You are designated human. You have been observed. In the city of Seoul, a young woman named Hansara stood frozen in the middle of a busy crosswalk. Around her, thousands of people stared at the giant screens on the buildings. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. I am High Admiral of the Dominion of 12 Stars, the alien continued. We have ruled this galaxy for 6,000 of your years. Every species that has risen to touch the stars has learned to obey us. You will be no different. Sora felt her heart beating fast. She was just a university student. She had an exam in 2 hours. None of this felt real.
I know, everyone's telling me.
You will dismantle your fleet, commanded.
I still want to
You will abandon your colonies beyond your home system. You will submit to Dominion law. You have 30 of your days to comply. The alien paused. When it spoke again, its voice was colder than before. If you do not obey, we will end your species. This is not a threat. It is simply what will happen. We have done this before. We will do it again. You are small. You are young. You are nothing to us. The transmission ended. The screens went dark. And then the panic began. Far from Earth, beyond the orbit of Mars, a battle cruiser called the moved through the darkness of space. It was one of 12 ships that protected humanity's borders. Not a large fleet by galactic standards. Not impressive at all. On the bridge of the, Captain watched the same transmission that every human had just seen. He was 43 years old. His hair was starting to turn gray at the edges. He had spent 20 years in space, fighting pirates and protecting colonies and learning everything he could about the universe beyond Earth.
I don't know how I feel about it yet.
When the transmission ended, he did something that surprised everyone on the bridge. He laughed.
But I'm down.
His first officer, Commander Park, turned to look at him. She was a serious woman, 10 years younger than the captain, with sharp eyes and a sharper mind. She had served with for 5 years and thought she knew him well, but she had never heard him laugh like this. Captain, she asked carefully, did you understand what we just saw? I understood perfectly, said. He was still smiling. Some alien empire that has been in charge for 6,000 years just noticed we exist. They told us to give up everything we have built. They promised to kill us all if we do not obey. Yes, said. That is exactly what happened, so why are you laughing? Stood up from his command chair. He walked to the main window and looked out at the stars. So many stars, so many worlds. Humanity had only touched a few of them so far. Because they made a mistake, he said quietly. They think we are like the other species they conquered. They think we will look at their big ships and their old empire and fall to our knees. Captain, they have ruled the galaxy for 6,000 years. They have technology we cannot even understand. They have never met humans, interrupted. They have no idea what we are. He turned back to face his crew. Every officer on the bridge was watching him. Some looked scared. Some looked confused. A few looked like they wanted to believe in something but did not know what. Lieutenant said to his communications officer, open a channel to the Dominion flagship. Make it broadband. I want every species in this sector to hear what I am about to say. Was a young man with quick hands and a calm voice. He did not hesitate. His fingers moved across his console, and a moment later he nodded. Channel open, Captain. You are broadcasting live. Straightened his uniform. He took a deep breath, and then he faced the camera.
Does anyone have
High Admiral, he said. My name is
medkit or no?
Captain of the United Earth Fleet. I received your message. Every human received your message. He paused for a moment to let the silence grow. You told us to give up our ships. You told us to abandon our colonies. You told us to kneel before your dominion and accept your rule. Behind him, Commander held her breath. She did not know what her captain was about to do, but she could feel that something important was happening. I have discussed this with my crew, continued.
So
This was a lie. He had not discussed anything with anyone, but he knew what his crew would say if he asked them. He knew what every human would say. And we have decided on our response.
You guys are looting?
He smiled. It was not a nervous smile or a polite smile. It was the smile of a man who had just been told to fear the dark and decided to laugh instead. That is cute, Captain said. On the Dominion flagship, High Admiral watched the humans' transmission with confusion. His species did not have facial expressions the way humans did, but if they had, he would have been frowning. What does this mean? He asked his translator. Cute. What is cute? The translator, a small being from a conquered world, trembled as it answered. It is a human word, High Admiral. It means something small and harmless, something that does not need to be taken seriously. Was silent for a long moment. This creature, he said slowly, is calling our dominion small and harmless. Yes, High Admiral, I believe he is mocking you. No species had mocked the Dominion in 3,000 years. The last ones who tried were now extinct. There was a burned rock floating in empty space. Prepare the battle group, Commander. His voice was very cold now. 40 ships. We will go to their home system. We will destroy their fleet. And then we will burn their planet until nothing remains but ash and silence. Yes, High Admiral, and the human captain, the one who spoke. His crystalline face caught the light of distant stars. Bring him to me alive. I want him to watch his world die before I end him. Back on the captain ended the transmission and turned to his crew. They were staring at him with wide eyes. Captain, Commander said slowly, you just insulted the most powerful empire in the galaxy on a public channel. They are going to come here and kill us all. Yes, agreed. They are definitely coming, probably with a very large fleet. Then why did you do it? Walked back to his command chair and sat down. He looked at his crew, at these men and women who had trusted him with their lives.
Don't go there?
Because I have studied history, he said. Human history. And do you know what I learned?
You want to go there?
Every time someone told humans to kneel, to give up, to accept that they could not win, we found a way to surprise them. He leaned forward in his chair. The Dominion has ruled for 6,000 years because nobody ever pushed back. Nobody ever said no. They do not know how to fight an enemy that refuses to be afraid. And you think we can beat them? Asked. His voice was quiet but steady. I think we can make them bleed, answered. And once the galaxy sees that they can bleed, everything changes.
I guess I'll take it.
On Earth, the panic was growing. Governments held emergency meetings. Military leaders argued about surrender. People filled the streets with protests, some demanding peace and some demanding war. But in the quiet spaces between the shouting, something else was happening. Young soldiers looked at each other and nodded. Old veterans dug out their uniforms and checked their weapons.
Crazy.
Scientists worked through the night on projects that had seemed impossible just days before. And everywhere, people repeated the words of the strange captain who had refused to kneel. That is cute, they said to each other. And then they laughed and the laughter spread and the fear began to fade.
All right, one more probably.
The galaxy had warned Earth to obey. Earth had chosen to smile instead. And now, everything was about to change. The Dominion fleet arrived 3 days early. They wanted to catch the humans off guard. They wanted to show that even human tricks and clever words could not save them from the might of the galaxy's oldest empire. 40 warships jumped into the Sol system at the same moment. Each one was massive, built over centuries with technology that humans could barely understand. They had weapons that could burn continents. They had shields that could stop asteroids. They had been the terror of 100 worlds. On the bridge of the
No?
Eternal Law, High Admiral watched his tactical
He was a
display
new
with
chatter too. I think he
satisfaction.
just came in and
The
gifted me.
human was right there, blue and green and fragile, so easy to destroy. "Report," he commanded. His
I guess he
tactical
didn't want to see me
officer
fix my
responded
buzzball.
quickly. "We detect 12 human vessels, High Admiral, small ships. Their weapons are primitive. Their shields are weak." 12 against 40, said. The closest thing his species had to a smile appeared on his crystalline face. "This will not be a battle. It will be an execution." "High Admiral, there is one strange thing." "What is it?" "The human ships, they are not retreating, they are moving toward us." Paused. This was
tired.
unexpected. Every species he had ever conquered had either surrendered or tried to run when they saw a Dominion battle group. Nobody had ever flown toward their own
Sam
death
from
with such
Danny,
purpose. Perhaps
Danny-
they have
oh
not
my
yet
God, I can't even
understood the
speak.
mathematics
Danny
of their
Fan-
situation,
yeah.
he decided. "Open fire, destroy them all." The
where
Dominion ships launched their attack. Plasma
no?
lances, the most devastating weapons in the galaxy, shot across the void at near light speed. Each shot was perfectly calculated by ancient computers that had never been wrong. The angles were perfect. The timing was perfect. In 3 seconds, all 12 human ships should have been burning wreckage. But when the fire cleared, all 12 human ships were still there. Every shot had missed. "What happened?" demanded. His voice was sharp with anger and confusion. "I do not understand, High Admiral. Our targeting was correct. The trajectories were perfect, but the human ships moved."
I know.
"Moved? Ships cannot dodge plasma lances." "These ships did, High Admiral. They moved at the last
For a
possible
buzzball?
moment, in patterns we did not predict." On the bridge of the captain gripped the arms of his command chair as his ship twisted through the enemy fire. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency, even as death passed by them
Yeah, I have a
again
blue
and again.
buzzball, raw sauce.
"Navigator," he called out, "how are we doing?" Was a small woman with steady hands and the best instincts in the fleet. She had been flying ships since she was old enough
There's
to
a lot
reach
of
the
slurp here,
controls.
guys.
"The predictive evasion program is working perfectly,
Sam.
Captain. Their computers fire based on where we should be, not where we will be. As long as we keep moving in patterns they cannot calculate,
That's crazy.
they cannot hit us." This was humanity's first secret weapon. The Dominion had ruled for 6,000 years because they were logical. Their tactics were perfect. Their strategies were calculated centuries in advance. They had never lost because they never made mistakes. But humans made mistakes all the time.
20K.
Humans were chaotic and messy and unpredictable. And somewhere along the way, they had learned to use that chaos as a
I don't
weapon.
know, to be honest.
"All ships," commanded over the fleet channel, "execute pattern Gamma.
I'm going to this
Show
little
them
house.
what happens when they corner something that bites back." The 12 human ships scattered in different directions. To the Dominion computers, it looked random. It looked like panic, but it was something
Where
much
is
more
this
dangerous.
fucking-
It was a trap. The human ships curved
I hear
back
it
inward
somewhere.
at the same
Fuck is
moment,
it?
each one targeting a different Dominion vessel. They did not aim for the heavily armored hulls or the powerful weapons. They aimed for the small things: engine vents, shield
I only like
generators,
2 flavors
communication
from the buzzballs.
arrays.
I like the green one.
The Dominion
and the
ships
blue
were built to
ones.
survive
I don't like
massive
any other
attacks.
Ones,
They were not built to
at all.
survive a dozen small ships attacking a dozen different weak points at the same time. Within
in
minutes, 8 Dominion ships were
It is in
crippled.
here.
They
Yay.
floated in space, dark and silent, their crews unable to understand what had just happened. "This is impossible," said. He had stood up from his command
I don't know.
chair,
And
his
I know a lot of
crystalline
people
body
like the
catching the
horchata
light
one.
of
I
weapons
don't know how
fire.
people do that.
Their
I don't know.
technology is inferior. Their numbers are inferior. How are they winning? His science officer's voice was shaking. "High Admiral, we have analyzed their movements. They do not follow any established combat pattern. Their tactics are
They're cheap, and
irrational.
they're like 14%
They should not
or
work.
15%, something.
But they are working." "Yes, High Admiral,
it does the
somehow
job.
they are working." On the Commander Park reported the damage from their first attack run. "We lost 2 ships,
makes
Captain.
sense.
The end, the no survivors." Closed his eyes for a
Smart,
moment.
smart.
He had known those captains. He had eaten dinner with them. Now they were gone. How many enemy ships did we destroy? He asked. We destroyed 3 completely and disabled 5 more. The remaining Dominion ships are regrouping. Then we keep fighting. Opened his eyes. We knew we would lose people today. We knew this would hurt, but we cannot stop now. If we stop, Earth dies. The battle continued for 3 more hours. The humans used every trick they could think of. They flew through asteroid fields where the Dominion computers could not track them. They hid behind damaged enemy ships and attacked from unexpected angles. They sent fake signals and false targets and confusing messages. And slowly, impossibly, they started to win. Chief Engineer reported from the engine room. Captain, we have taken heavy damage. Shields at 20%. Hull breaches on decks 4 and 7. If they hit us one more time, we might not survive. Understood. Just keep us flying a little longer. I will do my best, Captain, but I must tell you something. I have served in the fleet for 15 years. I have been in many battles, but I have never seen anything like today. We are doing the impossible. No, said quietly. We are doing what humans have always done. We are refusing to die when we are supposed to. The final moment came when the found itself facing the Eternal Law directly. Its flagship was the largest ship in the Dominion fleet. It had weapons that could destroy planets. It had been the symbol of galactic power for 300 years. And now it was alone. The rest of the Dominion fleet was damaged or destroyed or running away. Only remained. Human Captain's voice came over the communication channel. I offer you a chance to surrender. You have fought well, better than anyone expected. Save yourself and your crew. Accept defeat with honor. Looked at the massive ship on his. He thought about his crew, tired and injured and scared. He thought about the friends he had lost today. He thought about Earth, waiting to learn if they would live or die. High Admiral, he replied, let me tell you something about humans. We do not fight because we think we will win. We fight because some things are worth fighting for, even if we lose. That is irrational. Yes, it is. And that is exactly why you will never defeat us. Cut the channel and turn to his weapons officer. Fire everything we have left at their engine core. All weapons, every torpedo, empty the magazines. The unleashed everything it had. Missiles and energy weapons and even old-fashioned kinetic rounds. They all hit the same spot on the Eternal Law's hull.
Do you guys want to go there or no?
The Dominion flagship shuddered, its lights flickered, and then slowly it began to drift. Its engines were dead.
People down here?
High Admiral's tactical officer reported with fear in his voice. We have lost propulsion. We cannot fight. We cannot flee.
All right, we got
Stared
this.
at his displays. His fleet was broken.
I'm running him over.
His ship was crippled. And the human vessels, battered and burning but still alive, surrounded him like wolves around a wounded
so then
deer.
We're going this way.
Retreat,
We gotta
he
go back and
commanded.
run people over.
All ships that can still move jump out of the system. Leave now.
We'll go this way.
The remaining Dominion ships fled.
Yeah, there's
They
like
jumped
2 different
away to
squads.
distant stars,
Let's just go in
carrying
the tunnel here,
news of
or
their
go on top
impossible
of this
defeat.
bridge tunnel.
In the Sol system,
Oh,
the 10
God
surviving
damn.
human ships floated among the wreckage. They had won. Nobody could believe it,
Where
but
is
they
she?
had won.
Oh, god damn.
On Earth, people watched the
Oh,
battle
okay.
recordings in stunned silence. Then they started to
We're
cheer.
going outside the circle.
The
We gotta
cheering
go up.
spread from city to city,
Gotta go
country
back.
to country,
Okay, let's go take
until
the
the
zip
whole
line. Take
planet
ground.
was
This
celebrating.
way.
And far away,
Get out of the
in the
vehicles.
halls of power on a dozen different worlds,
They're gonna
other
see us
species
coming.
watched the footage too. Species that had served the Dominion for
We'll
centuries.
be up here. We're
Species
in
that had
circle.
forgotten what freedom felt like. They watched the small human ships attack the massive Dominion fleet. They watched the Eternal Law go dark. They watched the great High Admiral run away like a frightened child.
Oh, thank you so much.
And for the
Merry
first
Christmas
time
to
in
you, too.
thousands
Also,
of
welcome to
years,
the stream.
they began to hope. The galaxy had sent its mightiest fleet to teach humanity to obey. Humanity
Sorry if
had
I'm
sent
not
it
fully
back
reading
broken.
chat right now.
Now
I'm
everyone
not
was
fucking-
watching. Now everyone was asking the same question. What were these humans, and what else were they capable of? The news of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light itself.
No,
Every
I know, that's how
species
I
with
kinda feel.
access to a communication array saw the footage. Every world that had ever bowed to the
Thank you so
Dominion
much
watched the
for
great
stopping
fleet
by.
fall apart
What should we
against
do?
12
I don't know
small
what to do. Stay
human
up here
ships.
for a while?
On the trading world of Nexus Prime, the largest space station in the sector, representatives from dozens of species gathered to watch the recordings again and again. They could not believe what they were seeing. They were there. They were a species of amphibians with smooth skin and
Where the
large,
fuck is
dark
everyone?
eyes.
They
They
were
had been conquered 3,000 years ago. They had served the Dominion for so long that most of them had forgotten what freedom felt like. But now, watching the human ships dance through plasma fire, something old was
Yeah, he was
waking
just
up
standing right
inside
there.
them. They actually did it, whispered a delegate named. They made retreat. The High Admiral himself ran away from them. It must be a trick, said another. Some kind of deception. The Dominion does not lose battles. I watched the footage myself, replied. It is real, the humans won. Across the station, similar conversations were happening. The tall beings with 4 arms and skin like polished wood argued about what this meant for their enslaved. The small creatures who communicated through color changes in their skin flashed excited patterns at each other. Even the representatives, members of own species, spoke in quiet, worried voices. Into this chaos walked Ambassador Shin of Earth. She was not what anyone expected. She was young by diplomatic standards, only 32 years old. She was small, even by human standards. She wore a simple black uniform without medals or decorations. She looked to alien eyes, completely ordinary. But when she walked into the main assembly hall, every conversation stopped. Every eye turned to her. She had something that none of the Dominion representatives had ever possessed. She was not afraid. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, said. Her voice was calm and steady. I know many of you are confused. I know many of you are scared. The galaxy you have known for thousands of years is changing, and change is always frightening. She walked to the center of the room, where all the delegates could see her clearly. 3 weeks ago, the Dominion of 12 Stars told humanity to kneel. They told us to give up our ships, abandon our colonies, and accept their rule. They promised to destroy us if we refused. Pause to let her words sink in. We refused, and when they came to destroy us, we fought back. We did not win because we were stronger. We did not win because we had better weapons. We won because we would not accept defeat. We won because we chose to fight even when fighting seemed impossible. The ambassador rose from his seat. His name was, and he was old even by his species standards. His crystalline body was clouded with age, but his voice was still strong. This is sedition, he declared. You come to this place to spread rebellion against the rightful rulers of this galaxy. The Dominion will crush your planet and everyone foolish enough to listen to you. Turned to face him directly. She was half his height, but she did not look small. Then crush us, she said simply. You have been trying, how is that going? Had no answer. The Dominion told humanity the same thing they told all of you once, continued, turning back to the other delegates. They told 100 other species across 1,000 years, kneel or die, accept our rule or be destroyed. She looked at each delegation in turn. And you knelt, not because you were cowards, not because you were weak, but because you had no choice. The Dominion was too strong. Fighting back seemed impossible. His voice grew stronger. But now you have seen something different. You have seen that the Dominion can be beaten. You have seen their mightiest fleet run away from a fight. You have seen that they bleed just like everyone else. What do you want from us? Asked the delegate. His name was, and he was the oldest member of his species still alive. Are you asking us to join your war? No, said. I am not asking you to fight our battles. I am asking you to think about your own situation. For 3,000 years, you have served the Dominion because you believed you had no choice. But choices always exist. Sometimes we just cannot see them. Pretty words, said with contempt. But words do not win wars. Your fleet is broken. You lost 2 ships in your little
I didn't even
victory.
see.
You cannot fight us and protect
Okay, I
your
gotta play that
colonies at the
song. I
same
didn't even
time.
see. I'm so sorry.
The Dominion has 1,000 ships. We will come again and again and again
horrible.
until your species is nothing but a memory.
I
Perhaps
might have to
agreed,
ask you to
but consider
restart
this. Right now, every enslaved species in your empire is watching this conversation. They are
I literally
watching
only
you
have
threaten
one
us.
gun.
They are watching us refuse to
fuck,
be
they're right
afraid,
here pushing.
and they are
Fuck.
asking themselves a question. She took a step closer
What do we
to,
do?
if these humans can fight the Dominion and survive, what else is possible? If 12 ships can defeat 40, what could 100 ships do? 1,000. What would happen if every species you have conquered decided to stand up at the same moment?
I'm going towards you, Becca.
His crystalline face flickered with something that
one
might have been
fucking gun.
fear. You are trying to start a rebellion, he accused. I am stating facts, replied. The Dominion rules because people believe it cannot be defeated. We proved that belief is wrong. What happens next is not my decision. It is the decision of everyone in this room and everyone watching across the galaxy. The assembly fell
I have
silent.
one, but
For a long
you
moment,
have two,
nobody
it's fine.
moved. Nobody spoke. The weight of thousands of years of history pressed down on every being in the room. Then the delegate stood up. My people have served the Dominion for 3,000 years, he said slowly. We have mined their asteroids. We have built their ships. We have died in their wars. And in all that time, we never had hope. He
There's a
looked at
slurp.
with
You
his large,
guys
dark
don't want
eyes.
slurp or what?
Today, for the first time in my life, I have hope. I do not know if you will win your war. I do not know if my people will ever be free. But I know that something has changed, and I will not pretend otherwise. Walked away from his delegation and went to stand beside. They will speak with Earth, he announced.
Rude.
Whatever that means, whatever it costs.
Destiny's
For a
up on
moment,
that
nothing
hill.
happened. Then the delegate rose as well. He was very old, and it took him a long time to cross the room. But when he reached side, he stood tall.
Rosshaus,
I have waited
unfollow,
400
Dakota right
years
now.
to see the Dominion challenged, he said. I did not expect it to happen in my lifetime. I did not expect it to be done by such small, strange creatures. But here we are.
No, it's okay. I have three
One
now.
by
Just
one,
keep it, just keep
other
it.
delegates joined them. The deep space wanderers, species that had been enemies under Dominion rule, stood together for the first time. Not everyone joined. The left in anger.
Yeah, see
Several
where it
other
fucking
loyal
puts us out.
Dominion
No, wait,
species
wait,
followed.
you go first. This might put
But
us
when the
outside
day
circle.
ended, 17 species had requested meetings with Earth's diplomatic corps. 17 cracks in an empire that had seemed unbreakable. That night sat alone in her quarters on the station. She was exhausted. Her hands were shaking. She had never done anything like this before. She was just a diplomat trained to talk and negotiate and find compromises. But today, she had done something different. She had offered hope to people who had forgotten what hope felt like. Her communication device buzzed. It was a message from Earth, from Captain. Ambassador, his recorded voice said, I watched your speech. I do not know if what we are doing is wise. I do not know if we can win. But I know that today you gave millions of beings across the galaxy a reason to believe in something better. That matters. Whatever happens next, that matters. Smiled for the first time in days. She wrote back a simple message. Thank you, Captain. Now we just have to make sure their hope was not misplaced.
Thank you so
Outside
much for
her
the
window,
raid.
the stars burned with ancient light. Somewhere
Oh my
out there,
God.
the Dominion was
I am
preparing
not
for
playing
revenge.
Tekken right now, guys.
Somewhere
but
out
welcome,
there,
Raiders.
enslaved
I will
species were
actually
whispering about
be
rebellion.
back on Tekken tomorrow.
And somewhere in the space between
he's a
fear
bot.
and hope,
Why'd I do that?
a new future was
I'll be
being
back on
born.
Tekken starting tomorrow.
The
I
galaxy
took a
had
break
been
for
ruled by the
about,
strong for 6,000 years.
a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe.
Perhaps it was time for the brave to have their turn.
But yeah,
6
welcome,
months
Raiders.
had
Thank
passed
you so much,
since
Annika.
Captain said 2 words that changed the galaxy. 6 months of fire and blood
Thank
and
you,
desperate
Misaku.
fighting. 6 months that felt like a lifetime.
Hopefully.
The war had spread far
fuck this
beyond
gun.
Earth. What started as a
welcome,
conflict
Raiders.
between
Thank you so
humans
much.
and the Dominion had become something much larger. Rebellion burned across 100 star systems. Species that had been silent for centuries now raised their voices. The old order was cracking apart. And somehow, against all logic, humanity was still alive. Stood on the bridge of the, now rebuilt and upgraded with technology from half a dozen allied species. He had been promoted to Commodore, though he still felt like the same man who had laughed at an alien emperor's threats. Commodore, Commander Park reported, the mining stations at 7 are secure. The Dominion garrison surrendered after we destroyed their flagship.
Shooter games,
Casualties
Apex,
asked.
and like Call of
Light
Duty,
on our side. The
Overwatch,
workers
and
rioted
I
when they
kinda just
saw our
stopped
ships
playing all
arrive.
games just to
They
play
opened the
Tekken.
station's blast
And
doors
yeah,
and let our
it was really
boarding
bad.
parties walk right in. Nodded
So I
slowly.
had to take a break.
This had been happening more and more often. The Dominion's enslaved populations were
love the
turning
game, but
against their
it
masters.
was a
Every
lot.
battle was easier because people who had been oppressed for
Princess,
centuries
hello.
finally saw a chance to fight back. How many ships do we have now? He asked.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot for me.
Chief engineer answered from his station.
Yeah, I used to play Apex.
32
Dude,
combat
I have some clips of
vessels,
me playing
Commodore.
Apex.
12 are
I used to be
human-built.
pretty good at Apex.
The rest come from species that have joined our alliance. We also have
what?
47 support ships and 3 mobile repair stations. 32 warships.
Yeah, I know.
It was a real
I'm back
fleet
tomorrow,
now.
Princess. I'll be
Not
playing
as
again
large
tomorrow.
as the Dominion's remaining forces, but growing every
Those of
week.
you that don't know, I am
And
a
the
King main.
Dominion
I'm
asked,
sorry, Rick,
what is
but
their current
I love
strength?
him.
Navigator
I have
pulled
thought
up the
about
tactical
switching
display.
ever since,
Intelligence
what's her
reports
name came
suggest
out?
they have
Mary So.
approximately
Is that how
300
you say her
active
name?
warships. However,
I
they
played
are
her
spread
for
across
a
their
little bit,
entire
and
territory.
I don't know, she just
They
feels
cannot
really,
concentrate their forces without leaving their
I don't know,
remaining
easy and
systems
natural to play.
undefended. The same
So-
problem we had 6 months ago, observed. Except now
kinda
we are
just
the
running
ones
around.
growing
Okay.
stronger while they grow
I'm going that
weaker.
way.
The irony was not lost on. The Dominion had spent 6,000 years building an empire
I'm doing
based on
pretty good.
fear. Every species they
Thank you so
conquered
much
was
for the
kept in
gifted
line
sub,
by the
Ross. What the
threat of
fuck?
overwhelming force.
Thank
But now
you to
that
Princess
force was
too. I
stretched thin,
appreciate that.
trying to fight rebels on every front. Lieutenant looked up from his communication console. Commodore, we have a priority message from Earth Command. It is Admiral.
What is up
He
with
is
this music?
requesting
This
a
song's a little
parley.
too slow for me, but it's
The
fine.
bridge went completely silent. Wants to talk, said in disbelief. The same who
By you?
promised to
Up
burn
above us?
Earth.
Or what?
It appears so, confirmed. He is offering a meeting on neutral ground. No weapons,
I'm
just
pushing with you.
conversation. His eyes narrowed with suspicion. This could be a trap.
Nice,
The Dominion does not
nice.
negotiate
Hell yeah,
with
brother.
inferior species. That is what they
I
have
got the big
always
jug.
said.
I'm gonna take this stupid gun.
They
Oh,
said
no,
a
no,
lot
no,
of
no,
things
no.
6
I'm
months
gonna take this
ago,
one.
replied quietly. They said they would destroy us in 30 days. They said resistance was futile. They said we
Apex
would
was fun in
learn
the
to
beginning, then
obey.
playing-
He smiled slightly.
Honestly, I kind of
None of those things happened. He thought for a long
be pretty
moment.
toxic, to be
The
honest.
logical part of his mind agreed with. This could
No,
easily
but-
be an ambush. But another part of him, the part that understood how wars
I did pretty
ended,
good with the
saw
guns
an
that I have,
opportunity.
to be honest, but where
Accept
is it
the
at?
parley, he decided. I will meet with myself. Commodore, that is extremely dangerous, protested. If something happens to you,
Oh, fuck.
our
Who the
entire
fuck is on me?
alliance could fall
Who
apart.
the fuck? Is it behind
Then
me?
nothing will happen to
Where
me,
the fuck?
said simply. Besides, I have wanted to meet the Admiral face
also,
to
guys, I
face
just started
ever
playing
since I
Apex, or
called
not
his
Apex,
ultimatum
Fortnite.
cute. I think he deserves a chance to respond.
Oh my.
3
Wait,
days
the fuck?
later,
Oh, yeah, behind
shuttle
us.
approached a small space station in the neutral
There's people
zone
behind us
between
as well, too,
Dominion and human-controlled space. It was
Where
an
are you trying
old
to-
trading
push- come
post,
back this way, fall back.
abandoned for decades, chosen specifically because neither side controlled it. Admiral was waiting in the main chamber. He looked different than he had in the original broadcast.
There's people
His
over here
crystalline
fighting.
body was duller, like polished stone that had lost its shine.
We gotta move towards
He
fucking
moved more
circle,
slowly.
brother.
He looked, realized, tired. Commodore said,
Fuck,
the
there's people
human
running
rank
up here,
sounded
too.
strange in his translated voice. I remember you, the captain who mocked me. I remember you too, replied.
Thank you so much for the
The
gifted
admiral
sub,
who
Ross.
promised to make me watch my world
I'm
burn.
pushing with you, Dakota.
They stood facing each other across an empty room. Two beings
Trying
from
to
different
run, but it's
worlds,
fucking
different
hard over
species,
here running out of
different
fucking my
lives.
breath.
But in that moment, they understood
Who the
each
fuck
other
is-
perfectly. This war is destroying both of us, said. The Dominion has lost more ships in 6 months than in the previous 300 years. Our economy is collapsing. Our member
brother, we need your
species are
shit.
rebelling. Everything we built is falling apart. That sounds like your problem, said. Why should I care? Because humanity is not winning either, replied. You have taken casualties. You have lost colonies. Every victory costs you
That's my
something.
man.
This war could continue for years, perhaps
I'm with you.
decades, and at the end, both of us could be too weak to survive. Consider this.
That
The
was kind of a
Admiral was
shame,
not
but
wrong.
it's fine.
Humanity was
We'll ignore
surviving,
that.
even thriving in some ways, but the cost was real. Young soldiers died every day. Families were torn apart. Resources that could have been used to build and explore were spent on weapons and shields. What are you proposing? He asked carefully. The Dominion is willing to offer terms, said. We will recognize human independence. We will withdraw from the territories you currently hold. We will stop trying to destroy you.
I don't know if you're still in here.
And in exchange,
I appreciate
you stop helping our rebellious subjects. You stop spreading your ideas of freedom and independence. You stay in your corner of the galaxy and let us manage ours. Laughed. It was the same laugh that had echoed across the stars 6 months ago.
Me. I see you.
But there was less joy in it now and more sadness. That is what you came here to offer. You want us to abandon the people who trusted us, the species that joined our alliance, that fought beside us, that died for a chance at freedom. They are not your concern, said. They are our subjects, our responsibility.
They better start fucking
They
shooting
were your
them,
slaves,
like, for reals.
corrected.
When
And
we're
they
there,
chose to
fucking
stop
turn on
being
us.
slaves. That choice was not about us. It was about them. You cannot put that choice back in a box. His crystalline form
Ooh, nice. They
flickered
have to
with
come towards
frustration.
us. We should
Then what
go
do you
towards
want?
circle.
Your species is unprecedented. You fight without fear.
Yeah,
You
they're gonna have to
absorb
come towards
defeat and
us.
return stronger. You inspire rebellion in populations that accepted our rule for. I would know. What do humans want? Was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was serious but not hostile. We spent our entire history learning one lesson over and over, he said. Tyrants do not stop until someone stops them. You gave us an ultimatum. You threatened our extinction. There is no version of peace where we forget that. Then we are at an impasse.
There's another one inside.
No, said. We are at a beginning. You can keep fighting until your empire crumbles completely. Or you can accept that the age of the Dominion is over and help build something new. Something where no species gets to issue ultimatums. Stared at him for a long time. His species did not have facial expressions that humans could read, but something shifted in his posture. Something that might have been the beginning of understanding. What you are describing would require the Dominion to admit we were wrong, he said slowly. It would require us to accept that our 6,000 years of rule were a mistake. Not a mistake, said. Just over. Everything ends, Admiral, empires, species, even stars. The question is not whether things end, but what replaces them. And you think humans should decide that. I think everyone should decide together. That is the whole point. Turned away and looked out the window at the distant stars. For a long moment, he said nothing. I cannot make this decision alone, he finally said. The High Council must vote. There are many in the Dominion who would rather fight to the last ship than accept these terms. I know, said. There are humans who feel the same way. But maybe, just maybe, enough of us on both sides are tired of watching people die. I will present your position to the council, said. I cannot promise they will listen, but I will try. It was not peace. It was not even the beginning of peace. But it was something that had seemed impossible 6 months ago. A Dominion admiral listening to a human, considering a different future. As Shuttle flew back to he thought about everything that had happened since this all began. The battles they had won, the friends they had lost, the galaxy they were reshaping with every choice. He did not know if the war would end tomorrow or in 10 years. He did not know if humanity would ultimately survive or be destroyed. But he knew one thing for certain. Whatever happened next, they would face it standing up. They had refused to kneel at the beginning. They would refuse to kneel at the end. And somehow, against all odds, that simple choice was changing everything. The war ended not with a final explosion, but with a quiet signing of names. 3 years after Captain told the galaxy that their threats were cute, the Treaty of Terra was prepared for signature. Representatives from 47 species had gathered at a massive space station orbiting Earth's moon. They came from every corner of the galaxy. Some had been enemies for centuries. Some had never met before. All of them were about to become something new. The station was called Hope Station, built in the final months of the war by workers from a dozen different worlds.
I'm down.
It was not pretty.
What the fuck?
It was not elegant.
What the fuck?
It was a collection of modules and
Futurama, you
corridors
fucking
thrown
bitch.
together by beings who had never
I
worked
don't know
together
what I was
before.
doing.
But it
Blame
was
me.
theirs, all of theirs,
Blame
and that
me.
made it beautiful. Admiral, as he was called now, stood in the main
Mythical.
observation deck and watched the delegations arrive.
I'm gonna
He was
go
older than
downstairs
he
if
had
you wanna
been at
just
the
pick
beginning.
me up. Oh.
Gray had spread through his hair.
Ignore me.
Lines had deepened around his eyes. He walked with a slight limp from a battle wound that had never fully healed. But he was
You
alive.
guys got this. You
Against
guys got
all
this.
odds, against all predictions,
Don't
he
ask
was still here to
questions,
see this
Becca.
day. Admiral, said a familiar voice behind him, you look like a man who cannot believe what he is seeing. He turned to find
My body, if
Ambassador
you guys go
Shin
down that
approaching.
zip line,
She was older too.
there's
White
that big
threads
old,
now ran through
jug
her
down
black
there, Dakota,
hair,
yeah.
but her
Zip
eyes
line?
still held that
Yeah.
same quiet fire that had convinced
that shit right
100
there.
species to stand up and fight.
Okay.
I keep thinking I will wake up, admitted.
Okay.
That this is all some dream, and I will find myself back on the
Run,
still
bitch,
just a captain
run.
with a big
Oh
mouth.
shit.
Smile. If it is a dream, then we are all sharing it. And I think I prefer this dream to what we had before.
Wait, I'm not done. One more.
Through the observation window, they could see the arriving ships. Human vessels flew
we still going,
alongside
guys.
former Dominion warships.
That was a win.
Transports docked next to cruisers. Species that had been at war for generations now waited patiently for their turn to land. The signing ceremony took place in the station's largest hall. It had been designed to accommodate beings of every size, from the tiny to the enormous wanderers. Seats of every shape filled the space, and every seat was occupied.
Thank you, Rosas. I appreciate
When
you.
Admiral entered, the room fell silent. He looked different than he had during the war. His crystalline body
do
had
you play,
regained some of its shine,
Fortnite?
but there was something else changed about him. He moved more carefully. He seemed more thoughtful. The arrogance that had once defined him was gone, replaced by something that might have been wisdom. Approached the signing table, where human diplomats waited with the treaty documents. He paused when he reached. Admiral, he said, I understand that without you, none of this would be happening. That is not true, replied. I just said what everyone was thinking. The real work was done by millions of beings across the galaxy who decided they deserved better. Perhaps, was quiet for a moment. I have a question that has troubled me since our last meeting. Ask it. You could have destroyed us. After everything we did, after the colonies we burned, you had the power to
I'm
end the
nervous, but
entirely. Why did you not?
Excited to start playing Tekken again.
Considered the question seriously. It was something he had thought about many times. Because that is not what we are, he said finally. We could have become conquerors.
So long as I've gone, I
History
think
shows
about
us that
playing.
path clearly. Humans have done terrible things to each other over the
Go
centuries.
heat up some
We
ramen.
know what happens
Go
when
make
power
some
is
ramen.
used without mercy. He looked at directly. But we decided a long time ago that the point of being strong is not domination.
Dude, Destiny still
The point
goes
is
too.
protection.
Like, she'll keep playing
The
with us. She
ability
don't
to
give a
say
fuck.
no when someone tells
go
you
here.
to kneel, and to help others say
Yeah, we haven't
no
been
as
there
well.
in a minute.
Even your enemies.
Come over to
Especially
Tekken
our
A and we talk
enemies,
with-
because
No, literally?
enemies can become
Oh, God.
friends.
I get really mad on that
Oppressors
game,
can
though.
become partners. Empires can become alliances,
It's only
but
4
only if
dude, she's
someone
loyal.
chooses to break the cycle. Was silent for a long moment. My species has ruled
Dude,
the
why do I
galaxy
should
for
know the answer to
6,000
this.
years, he said slowly. We believed we were right to do so. We believed we were bringing order to chaos, civilization to the primitive.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if we were simply afraid.
I'm landing right here.
Afraid of what? Afraid of equals. afraid of beings who might
On the hot
challenge us,
dog.
disagree with us, show us we were wrong. It is easier to rule those you consider beneath you. It requires no growth, no change, no humility. The old
Can I
admiral
visit you
looked
on your
around at the
island?
gathered delegations. You humans showed us something we had forgotten. Strength is not about
Please.
defeating others. True strength is about standing beside them. Ambassador stepped forward.
did.
Then let us make it official. Let us show the galaxy that former enemies can choose a different future.
How dare you do that to my friend?
The signing took
Nice.
hours. Each species had their own
Teammate's gonna come for
rituals, their
sure.
own ways of making promises binding. Humans signed with
hello?
pens. They pressed their crystalline fingers to special plates that
following you?
recorded their energy signatures.
Come on.
They spoke ancient oaths. They performed
God.
slow, careful dances. When it was finally
I didn't
done,
know that gun
the
was
hall
not reloaded.
erupted in celebration.
My bad.
Beings who had never seen each other before embraced in whatever way their bodies allowed. Old enemies clasped hands and appendages and tentacles. Someone started singing, and soon the room was filled with the sounds of
Yeah,
100 different
pick
songs
'em up.
in 100 different languages. The Galactic Cooperative was born.
Wait, what happens if I get
Outside
this?
in the space around the
this.
station, fireworks of light
Yeah.
bloomed against the darkness. Ships of every design flew in formation, their weapons quiet,
Wait,
their
I'm gonna pick
shields
her up.
down.
I'm gonna go get
For the
Destiny.
first time
I
in
think I can
history,
do
the
it.
galaxy was at peace.
I'm going.
Not perfect peace, not
Dakota's
eternal
okay. You
peace,
guys can handle it.
but peace enough to begin building something better. Later that night, returned to Earth. He had a house
I gotta
near
bring
the
her back.
ocean now, a small place where he could hear the waves and remember what he
fuck.
was fighting for.
There's people here.
His daughter was there with her
They're
own
gonna kill me.
family,
They're gonna kill me. They're
waiting
gonna
to
kill me.
celebrate
You
with
guys
him. His granddaughter
Fuck you
was 4
guys.
years old. Her name was, and she had
Fuck you
inherited her
guys. They straight up were
grandfather's laugh.
watching me. And the last
Grandpa,
second they killed me.
she shouted when he walked through the door.
I had to try to
She
bring
ran
her
to
back.
him and demanded to be picked up, which he did despite his tired back.
Her name is Beatrix.
"Hello, little one," he said, holding her close. "Did you watch the ceremony?"
That was bad, huh?
"I saw all the aliens," exclaimed. "There were so many, they all came to sign the paper with you." "They did, do you know why?" She shook her
Process.
head, carried her to the window where they could see the stars
love my
appearing in the
adding
evening
notes.
sky. So many stars, so many worlds, all of them connected now in ways that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. "A long time
I'm
ago," he
surprised
told
that
her,
you're still
"some
playing,
very
Dakota.
powerful
That's
aliens
hella
came to
funny. I don't
Earth.
know.
They told
like
us
you
that
would've-
we had
you
to
would've
do
been like,
what they
"Alright, I
said.
gotta go,"
They
like
told us to
3
kneel.
minutes.
Do you know what that means?" "Like bowing?" asked. "Yes, like bowing, but worse. They wanted us to give up everything we had and serve them forever."
Thank you
"That
so
is
much,
mean,"
Ross,
his
for,
granddaughter
the
declared.
gifted subs,
"It
the,
was,
the
but do you
bits,
know what we did?"
Stopping by, everything. I
She
appreciate
shook her head
you.
again.
Hopefully
Smile.
we can play,
It was the same smile he
I don't
had
know,
worn years
Battlefield,
ago
I guess?
when he told the most powerful
no
empire in
Call
the
of Duty.
galaxy that their threats were cute. But now it was softer, gentler,
back,
the
bitches.
smile of a grandfather instead of a warrior. "We said no," he told her. "We refused to kneel.
I'm back.
And then we helped everyone else who wanted to say no too. That is what happened. That is why all those aliens came to sign the paper. Because we did not kneel. Because we showed them that no one has to kneel. Not ever. And when enough people
stay.
believe that, amazing things become possible." Was quiet for a moment, thinking with the serious intensity that only small
Oh, not
children
Kill Bill.
possess.
Ah, I see.
"Grandpa," she finally said, "you said the aliens wanted us to obey. What did you say to them?" Laughed. It was the same laugh that had
Her?
echoed across the stars, but now it was filled with joy instead of defiance.
Oh, that's not you.
"I said
That's-
something very simple," he told her. "I looked at their whole big empire with
Okay.
all their scary ships and all their threats, and I said, that is cute. Giggled, that is silly. Maybe, but sometimes when someone tries to make you afraid,
Yeah, pick
the
'em up, pick 'em
bravest
up.
thing you can
Throw 'em
do
over
is
the
laugh.
bridge.
Because
Throw 'em
fear
over.
only works if you let it. And we decided
Yeah.
not to let it. Outside, the stars burned bright and eternal. They had always been there, distant and untouchable. But now
This
they
bitch right
belonged
here.
to everyone.
Women.
Humanity had refused to kneel. The galaxy had learned to stand. And somewhere out there, in the vast darkness
Yeah.
between the stars, the future was waiting.
So I need
A future they would
this.
build
Thank
together.
You, thank you.